Welcome to Dangerous Misinformation, the bite-sized daily show to inspire topics for you to ruin social gatherings and family dinners. Join us today as we'll be going over pressing topics such as not giving a toxic masculinity in the trans community, Tupac being overrated, and much, much, much more fun for the entire family. My name's Rodney Smith, and I appreciate you joining us. This is Dangerous Misinformation, and oh boy, we got ourselves a little doozy on this Monday. How was your weekend? Did you have a good weekend? Let me know. Write me an email at lordpettypodcast@gmail.com. Tell me about your weekend. If you did anything extremely stupid, I want to hear about it. I want to hear more from you. I want to hear everything about you. But don't message me on Instagram because I probably won't read it because I fucking hate that app. You're saying, oh, why are you curving me on Instagram? I'm not. I just hate the app. I'm boycotting it. If this is your first time tuning in, follow me on Twitter. Follow me on X at LordPetty_ because I fucks with that website. And I really wish they would take the ban off my account. I said something. I called somebody like a big troglodyte or something on Twitter at one point, and then they made me ineligible for any sort of monetization or sharing, or you know how they do at the time. Back at the time, was it Jack Dorsey? Was he the dude or was he the original one? I can't remember. Back when the dorks were still in charge of X, I got a streaky and aka a strike. And I've been trying to recover from it since. I'm going to tell you the story. So why I just said streaky, and you're like, why the fuck would you say streaky versus strike? And I'm going to explain that in a second. So hopefully I remember that. Rodney of the future, remember this moment. But first, I want to say thank you for tuning in to Dangerous Misinformation. This is the only podcast where we love everybody, we make fun of everything. And it is time, folks. It is time we spread this thing like wildfire. We are ready. We put in the reps. We've been doing this for almost 5 years now. We've been doing this for almost 5 years. Think about how crazy that is. Everything that's gone on in our lives, everything that's gone on in the world, all the moments we've shared together, the LOLs we've had. And we've had this nice, beautiful, close-knit family, right? But I think it's time. I think it's time we go big with it, dude. And I'm ready for the journey, and I'm stoked for you to come along with it, and I'm stoked for us to do this zusammen. And as I explained before, the word zusammen means together in German. And I'm sorry if my voice, it sounds like I'm still sick, dude. I'm still sick. I do know, so back when I was making music, the one song that people always really like that I recorded. I actually recorded it when I was sick, and something made my voice sound cool, I guess, or something. I don't know. But so the whole point, let's dive into it. The whole point of, I guess, this isn't the thing to dive into, but I'm going to tell you why I said, what was the word I even said, like streaky or something? We're talking about strike or whatever. Is that what it was? Streaky, strike? I forget. So when I was a little boy living in Germany, it was completely normal for the kids to go hang out with the adults while they would just chain smoke cigarettes and sound like my voice right now and sit around in each other's apartments and just get hammered on the weekends, okay? Then those kids would just sit around inhaling all the cigarette smoke and absorbing all the adults' alcoholism and doing whatever it was, right? But so we were at Oma Rosie's, okay? Who was basically my, not real grandma, but like my German grandma over there, okay? And so it was, and she had like 8 kids. And so one of her kids was basically my godfather. And so we were just part of like that family. We lived with them for a couple months. His name was Uwe. He's cool as fuck. He's actually gay. And that's when people say, oh, you're fucking homophobe. Like, bro, I grew up with like one of the closest people ever to me was a fucking gay guy. And I know that's like saying, oh, I got black friends or whatever. But it's like, dude, I have nothing. Like, I get the gay thing. I'm not into it, though, personally. But anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, so we lived with Uwe, and we would go to, so it was his mom, Oma Rosie's house. So we go to Oma Rosie's house one night, and it's all the adults. They're all shit-faced. And it wasn't her house. It was an apartment. Everybody lives in apartments in Europe, okay? And so they're having this party. We're all sitting in the living room. It's filled with smoke. Everybody must be drunk because they're all laughing, giggling, having a great time. Us kids are being rambunctious. Some shit that the neighbors would hate over here, okay? Then all of a sudden we hear a knock on the door. And we're like 20 people deep, at least. We hear a knock on the door. It's this old lady. Like, I got a booger in my nose right now. It's this old lady who was a neighbor. He was even old compared to Omar Rosie, who was probably like 60, still smoking cigs at the time. And so this old lady walks in, and she's got two big, like 2-liter bottles of Sprite, right? And I'd had Sprite. I mean, Sprite's been around for, I don't know how long Sprite's been around. Maybe since the 80s or something. Probably longer than that. I don't know. And so this must have been in like 1999. And so this old lady walks into Omar Rosie's house with 2 big things of Sprite. And she's like, "Oh, I heard you young people are having fun down here. And I brought you this new." And it was in German, right? And so she said, "Das neue Getränk, Spritti." And then she's like, "Yes, my son, he dropped off this Spritti. And I wanted to give it to you because I don't party anymore." And, so everybody was like super nice, like, "Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Vielen Dank." And then she gave us the Spritti. And then as soon as she walked, it was one of those. I hope to God by the time she didn't walk out of the apartment and hear the door close, she didn't just hear the place fucking erupt. I just remember seeing the tears coming down my mom's face and like her friends, like we were like the whole place was just howling in laughter because I'm sure they were just hammered. They couldn't believe what just happened. I'm a kid, so everything's funny to me in general. So he was like, here's das neue Getränk, this new drink, Spritti. And so ever since then, it's been one of those things where whenever I see a word like knife, I'll call it a kniefie, or a bike could be like a bika. I don't know. It's just stupid. So now you know the story. Now you know a little bit about moi. You want to know something else about moi? Since you're listening to a podcast with moi, I'll tell you something. I am the Steve Jobs of not giving a shit, and let me explain. These people in Silicon Valley, right? These people that I admire, even though I hate the tech lizards, I do like studying them. And they all have this thing where they refuse to accept reality. People tell them something is impossible and this is just the way it is. And all the great people completely reject that notion. And I'm one of these people. And in my realm, it is of not a physical product or something in the tangible world or something in the tech industry. It's just with life philosophy and the way we carry ourselves. I want to be the Steve Jobs of not giving a fuck. When people tell me, "Oh, you go to if you read my book, I have this whole chapter about job interviews, right? About how stupid and fucking pointless they are. They're dumb. The whole thing doesn't make sense." And when we walk, I don't know why we agree to behave in these corporate environments and do these things and do these dog and pony shows. Like, no one wants to go to the fucking Christmas party, okay? We're not a fucking family at work. Nobody wants to, like, at what point do you have to get to where you start playing along with this shit? And then before you know it, your whole life's a fucking charade. Your whole life is just this bullshit corporate, like, ugh. Nah, dude, I'm not participating in it. If you ask me, it doesn't have to be like that. Why can't we be human, be normal, right? Why can't we be human, be normal, not have to play by all these dumb little corporate rules and little I got to act this certain way because I'm at work and pretend that I care about this or pretend I don't go drink a bunch of beer after work. Everybody you work with is some form of drug addict, right? Why do we have to all pretend to be these perfect blah, blah, blah people? Why can't you just be a part of something and be respectful of people? Right? If you're just respectful of others, why does it matter what you stand for? All of a sudden you're like, you got to specify on your social media, these views do not represent my employers. Like, what kind of bullshit dumbass Karen takes something that somebody says and be like, "Oh, I need to go talk to their employer. You sell insurance, I need to go talk to the insurance company about the stuff that Steven's saying on the internet about there being way too many fucking migrants sleeping on his house door. And all his tax money is going to pay for wars that don't concern us when you can't put food on the table." I don't know, dude. I just don't get it. I don't get... you can be honest and be real without being a dick. You know what I mean? That's what I try to walk this balance of being honest and being authentic without being a dick to people. I can't take myself serious going into these environments. I gotta drink with my pinky out, or I gotta pretend, laugh at the boss's jokes and shit like that. Like, the social politics, bro. I have no patience or room for it. Like, if something's dumb, something's dumb. And also they say, you know, I've read the 48 Laws of Power and I get it, okay? I'm not rejecting human nature. I'm not saying, like, I understand how the world works, but I refuse to accept certain parts of it. And one of them being just the fake fucking corporate shit. I want no part of it. I'm not even against like wearing suits and ties and dressing nice and like having classy shit. I love classy shit. As soon as I got, wait till I get my money right. You're not going to see me in normal bars and cheating. I want to hang out in steakhouses and drink old fashions and fuck 22-year-olds, okay? I've no desire. Whenever I go out now, I just want to go home. If I'm hanging out in just some regular ass dive bar with a bunch of people talking about, car maintenance or something like that, like shoot me in the head. I don't want to be, I can't even say that on YouTube, but I'm so bored. I'm so bored with normal life. Like I would rather just completely just burn out and burn all bridges at this point, or try to open up the portal to get into the space of where I don't have to be some fucking pretend corporate lunatic. Because the people at the top, right? You might think, oh, these like middle management corporate things, oh, we got to act like adults. No, the people at the top are railing coke and being ridiculous and having fun and enjoying their lives because they get it. Because it's crazy people. All these people in powerful positions, they all have some sort of like personality disorder. You know what I mean? They all refuse to take their meds, and that's what makes them genius. So I'm gonna stop taking my meds. I'm done with them. I've been actually pretty worried about this. I'm gonna be a little vulnerable with you. So I've been taking sertraline, is that what it's called, for my stomach problems, because they keep telling me that, the mind-gut connection, because I'm so wound up, because I'm such a spaz, they tell me it's like everything that makes me creative and fun and whatever gives me my personality, I think fucks with my like immune system and all that, because I'm just wired a certain way. I'm nuts, to put it short, okay? And so the mind-gut connection, it's like I don't even realize I have anxiety. I don't feel anxious. I don't feel like scared of anything. I don't feel sad of anything or whatever. But for me, like I get anxious if I feel like I'm just having stomach problems, because I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't want to deal with this. That makes me anxious. But they're telling me it's just this loop. So they've been trying to put me on like antidepressants and shit like that for about 10 years. And I always said, no, I'm good. No. And I finally just said, okay, what do I have to lose at this point? Because I'm tired of dealing with these digestive issues. It is what it is. Let's try it. Let's stop eating the bread and let's just take the medicine. And it had me feeling really shitty initially. It had me feeling kind of just like dark, and I don't know. I don't know. Like maybe it really turned me down. It took the fog away, but by taking the fog, no, it almost like added a fog. It took like the rough edges away, but then it added a fog. You know what I mean? Where before the edges were like spiky, they were now just cloudy. And but I've been pushing through it, and I've been worried about that it'll tone down my creativity. So I've been reading up a lot about creatives. Are they like, has this affected your creative output and the way, because I don't want to become a zombie. I don't want to start taking medication. Then all of a sudden, next thing I'm walking in the office. Oh, Steven, how you doing? How was your weekend? Oh, how's your wife? How's the kids? Oh, was it fun? Oh, well, you should come over sometime and have dinner. I'll show you the new lawnmower. No, dude, I can't do it. I want no part of it. Maybe when I'm 40, maybe when I have a kid, maybe some event in my life will happen to where I will snap into what you might want to call adult mode or something like that. But as of right now, I just don't give a fuck. I want to talk shit about the world. And yeah. Speaking of talking shit about the world, okay? Let's jump in and let's stop talking about me. Stop talking about even though this is my podcast and I can do whatever I want, but I want to be courteous and give you topics that you can ruin your family dinner with. That is the main point of this podcast, for you to be able to tune in and get inspiration for things that you can ruin family dinners and friend gatherings with, okay? And with that, I want you to really consider this and really think about what I'm going to say, okay? Is there anybody that displays more toxic masculinity than trans women? These bitches are fucking entitled, dude. And if you don't bow down to them, they will start mansplaining the shit out of pronouns to you. It's like, okay, that's fine. You don't need to start mansplaining to me about how pronouns work and how all this blah blah blah. Like, I get it, bro. I get that gender and sex are different. Whatever, dude. Are they? I don't care. You go do whatever you want to do. Just leave me alone. That is textbook toxic masculinity, just trying to force your ways and bully your ways onto people. You know what I'm saying? Don't be bullies. Leave that toxic masculinity shit. It's behind, you know? It's 2023. We don't need toxic masculinity anymore. So all you trans women out there, stop wanting to square up and throw fists with people if they say something about trans people, because it is it's not very ladylike. It's not very ladylike to want to throw hands with somebody if you're a trans woman. Okay? That is toxic masculinity. Violence is toxic masculinity. We should never have to resort to violence. And I don't know why I got to break this down so much, dude. Anyways, let's get into one more thing here before I let y'all go. I don't think Tupac was really that great. You know, people put Tupac up there, and to me, he just kind of yelled. You know what I'm saying? Like, he never really said anything of substance. He just kind of yelled. And, you know, like if you look at like a Little John, for instance, he yelled as well, but he actually produced his music and it actually made you feel uplifted. You know what I mean? So when people talk about, oh, Tupac's the greatest rapper alive, I think Little John is way more influential, because when snap music came around, like, it didn't matter what you're doing, right? You could be carrying a tray of food at your job or something like that, and Little John Snap Your Fingers would come on and you would want to drop the tray. When Tupac comes on, you're like, oh, okay, fuck, I got to sit here and like actually pay attention to what he's saying. And then he's not saying much. He's only talking about the things that ended up being his downfall. And I think that is just not, I just think that Little John yells better than Tupac. So anyways, appreciate y'all tuning in to Dangerous Misinformation, the #1 source in the world for dangerous misinformation, where everything we say is 100% serious. And I don't ever try to make rage bait to chop into little clips and throw on YouTube because they get the most clicks. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Please be sure to leave a rating and tell somebody. You know, the #1 way, if you look at market research, the #1 way podcast spread is mouth-to-mouth friends. So you play a huge part in this. So I want to thank you very much for anybody you've ever shown this podcast. You're the GOAT. Appreciate y'all, and I will check in with you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.